What's up, nerds? Let's open up this box and see how this new release compares to past releases. All right, the tape has been cut. We open it up to reveal this beauty. So I got this from Entertainment Earth. I don't know why I ordered two, probably so I could keep one of the Lukes carded. Got to rethink my life sometimes. It is the new Vintage Collection Landspeeder. A completely new tooling on it, and comes with the Deluxe Luke Skywalker, of course. Artwork very reminiscent of the original. Here, let me go ahead and move this box out of the way so we can lower this and compare this to the original version, which, if you look, it's a pretty accurate recreation of the original shot right there. Not bad at all. You've got the Sand Trooper right there. Of course, we didn't have the Sand Trooper in the past, but we do now. But you've got the Sand Trooper, R2, Luke, Obi-Wan, and C-3PO. Again, all represented on here. On the original, we had the same art repeated on the back side, as well as, you know, just some product images on the side panels, some of the features. And we're going to compare that now to the new packaging. We've got some product images right there, as well as some of the features shown on the outer box. No other fantasy shots like we have here, where it's an actual movie still. That would have been kind of cool. But yeah, not on this one. This one we just get a full what's in the box contents kind of shot. But here on the back side, we do have the actual fantasy scenario played out with action figures. Looks really good too. That's a great shot. But I am kind of particular to the recreation of the original artwork. I don't know, actually. Now that I look at the two compared, that's a really cool shot. I don't know how I'll display my second one, but we shall see. Now, I will also be comparing this to the 2000, I think it was a 2002 release. So we are going to be doing a comparison of the two as well. So we'll be able to decide which one is the better design. So as R2 and C-3PO fall all over the place. Let's go ahead and open it up. Make the first cut right there. Don't know why I always say right there. I annoy myself with that. Open up the box. One of these days I'll release one of these without any editing whatsoever, so you can see how much I stumble over everything I say and probably embarrass myself. All right, taking it out of the box, we are greeted by the Deluxe Luke. I am pretty happy that they're going to start releasing these on the narrower card backs, because I don't think this was necessary at all to have this really wide shot or wide card back. It's just ridiculous, and it doesn't hang on the pegs correctly. That's one of the reasons why I plan on leaving the other one boxed up. But, so here we go. It is Luke Skywalker, Tatooine version with the hat, the macro binoculars, the droid collar, his lightsaber blade, and the extinguished hilt, plus the rifle, the slug slinger rifle, and his poncho. He is VC 344A. So by way of comparison, 344 was the other version of Luke that came out single carded earlier this year, which was an epic figure. So here we go with 344A, which is just a slightly redecoed with extra accessories. It's part of that numbering thing that they had described before. I'm going to go ahead and move him off to the side. We will be opening him up as well as part of this review. Okay, remove this. Just so you know, once you remove the top cardboard, there's a piece of the Landspeeder in there. So don't just go throwing that away all willy-nilly. All right, let's go ahead and reach in and pull this guy out. Well, I already like the deco a lot more than the other release. The coloring is much, much better. Okay. I think I'm going to have to take the figures out of the other one so I can give it a nice, accurate comparison. And that is it that's in the box. We have the top turbine right here that attaches there. We have the all the warnings in every language known to mankind that they don't need to include. For some reason they do anyway. Let me see, what else have we got? And we have Luke. So there's not a lot to what's in the box, but what is in the box looks really sick. So, okay, let's go ahead and assemble it. Pop open the turbine here. All right. Focus in on that so you can see some of the deco on it. Very cool. Looks good. Looks really nice. Okay, I'm digging the paint app so far. It does plug in right there. There's a little hole right there for the peg to pop into. Check out all the different features. This is really cool, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Go ahead and pop that in. Should just pop into place, I hope. Yep. Quick little snap, and we are in business. All right. That looks really good. It does have the transparent wheels on the bottom, and they do have some really good suspension on them. So it's gonna hover very nicely. Go ahead and pop that down. Yeah. Nice. Very cool. Rolls nicely as well. Rolls really well. All right, let's go ahead and remove all the figures from this guy so we can compare the two. Luke, Obi-Wan. All right. So yeah, this one, the suspension on it's not quite as good as the other. Yeah, don't know why I need to keep dropping them to explain that, but you can see the differences between the paint apps right there. This one is much more screen accurate than this one. I never understood why they went so light on this one, but that is okay. It is replaced now, so I'm very happy about that. Let's see, what other features did this one have? I don't think, yeah, the engine compartment does not open. It is still solid right there, which is also a leftover from the original vintage version. Not that I don't have the original vintage version out of the package, but I will grab it again just so you can see. So let's see, what are some of the other features on this? Zoom in here really quick if I can. Not that it really mattered because he couldn't bend the knees of the figures anyway, but C-3PO can't tuck his legs in behind there, right? So he had to just kind of sit with his legs outstretched, which always made him kind of fall off the back of the vehicle. The other thing, though, with the original was they had the gear shift in there that would raise and lower the wheels. There is the gear shift here, and it does look like it moves. So let's see what it does whenever you move it. It does the same thing. So it's a leftover feature. That's pretty cool. I think this one did too. Let's see. Got the wheels in there, have the gear shift. Go ahead and move it up. Yeah, that retracted the wheels as well. It's more spring-loaded. Let's see if this one's more spring-loaded. Yeah, it is. It's a good spring too. This one just feels more solid for a newer vehicle. You know, the figures and the vehicles these days are kind of rubbery. This one is not that. This one is actually really, really solid. So this one, though, it does have the feature where you can open up the engine compartment like the original vintage version without, of course, the button that springs it open. And you can see the engine detailing in there. Some really cool engine detailing. I'm digging that. Very, very nice. Good paint apps on it too, even in the interior. All right. That closes up like so. It also has a little hook right here so you can pop the slug slinger rifle on there. Now, this right here has got a cavity as well where you can set C-3PO in there. If you've got one that has his knees bent, you can actually bend his knees and set him in there like he's supposed to. That's pretty awesome. I think everything's awesome whenever it's as well done as this is. So, yeah, you've got some really nice detailing in the exposed turbine engine right there. Bits of the engine that actually pop through the engine cover. I don't know what this is, but it does spin. I don't know. I think that's the direction it's supposed to go in. So I'm going to leave it like that. But yeah, we've got the hook for the blaster, or for the rifle. We've also got some other engine detailing back here. Overall, it is a very nice looking vehicle. So this is the Luke that came out earlier this year. I'm going to go ahead and put him in there. Like so. There is also, real quick before I do that, you'll notice that there's some detailing in the cockpit as well. Let's go ahead and zoom in right there so you can see The dashboard detail. Also, you've got some more dashboard detail on the interior right there underneath the window, like some vents. Looks like it could be a little computer readout too. And of course, the steering column. All right. So yes, as I was saying, go ahead and take this Luke that came out earlier this year. I can't wait for the new Obi-Wan to come out, because the original vintage collection Obi-Wan that came out, years ago, back in 2014, I believe. Actually, before that, I don't remember when this figure came out, but the cape is just so freaking thick on him that it just looks like he's wearing a bathrobe. He's going to squeeze in there also, but he's going to look kind of ridiculous. So I can't wait for that new Obi-Wan to come in. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stick Luke in there. If I get crazy, maybe I'll even put C-3PO in the driver's seat like there was in the movie. Have C-3PO drive Luke around looking for R2. Can't quite. It's kind of difficult to get him to reach the steering column. I don't want to mess with this, but I don't think the windshield pops off to make it a little bit easier to get in there. But I think it's mostly because of my fat fingers. Can't quite get him in there. But doesn't really matter. That looks pretty good. Let me see if I can find a C-3PO with bendable knees. A C-3PO with bendable knees is kind of a rarity. I've actually got this one in my Millennium Falcon. Simply because he is one of the, I don't know, God, when was the last time you could bend knees in 3PO? Anyway, he will pop in there like so. That's not exactly a great fit. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, because the knees do twist and bend, so I should be able to pop them right there. That's not too bad. It's not too great, but it's not too bad. He does sit like he's supposed to. So that's cool, but his arm is kind of blocking the intake right there. Let me see. Then we've got R2-D2. R2-D2 should sit like so, but again, R2 just kind of flops around a bit. Push that in. There we go. Kind of tuck him underneath the turbine right there, and he kind of sits in place. Kind of still rocks and rolls. I feel like there needs to be a specific R2 for this version, right? Maybe I think there was an R2 release not too long ago that actually had struts that didn't move. So that might be the one I need to use for this, just so, I don't know, maybe he'll sit a little flatter. But yeah, that's still something that hasn't been quite worked out yet. And then, of course, we've got Bathrobe Kenobi. Go ahead and stuff his body into the seat right here, knocking over R2. God, that is just ridiculously sized. Yeah, the new versions they're coming out with, God, I hope it's got a better cloak than this, because this just kind of sucks. Maybe I've got a Jedi with a better cloak in the meantime, but regardless, there we go. He sits in there with his bathrobe hood on. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, so C-3PO sits sort of like he's supposed to. R2 fits kind of like he's supposed to. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with this version. At least, we now have the option of tucking 3PO's legs in there. I wonder if I cross his legs. No, can't really cross his legs either. Anyway, if you can find a C-3PO with bendable knees, I think this one right here is from the Saga collection. I think it's the one that came with the Ewok throne. So as you can see, he's still chrome plated, which is amazing. But yeah, it's the last. I think that's the last version of 3PO with bendable knees, and yeah, it's the one you're going to want for this one until they decide to redo 3PO. Overall, not bad. All right, I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to go ahead and open up the new figure. This sucker's probably going to go on eBay now. Maybe not eBay. I hate eBay. They're terrible. I do realize also that I was putting R2-D2 on upside down or backwards, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. They haven't quite figured out a way to make them lock into place. Okay, so the Luke Skywalker, that's right, it's VC344A. So VC344A, the Deluxe Luke Skywalker. Yeah, the packaging, I love the photo on there that they use. It's a different photo than the one you normally get with Luke. Overall, it's, a very nice package. Comes unpunched, of course. because most of these come unpunched whenever you get them in the sets. Yeah, so let's go ahead and open them up. If you're ever wondering how it is that I'm able to get such a clean tear, it's because I do some pre-gaming. I do a little bit of pre-edge removal right there. That way I can just rip it off there and not completely destroy the card back. And sometimes I just don't care and just tear right into it. So in the bottom, underneath the tray, you've got this small tray which contains the cloth poncho. Let's see. It is folded in half. You've got, oh, look, you can stick his head through there. Oh, look, I'm Luke Skywalker. So, okay. That's dumb. Anyway, so there's the poncho. All right, let's go ahead and take him out of the package. His little bucket hat first. Let's get the smaller pieces first. That way I don't accidentally fling them all over the place. Especially this droid collar. That's going to be the easily lost piece. There we go. Used to be the lightsaber hilts, but I've got so many lightsaber hilts now that, well, or just lightsabers in general, that I could probably stand to lose a couple and it wouldn't make me that upset. There we go. Hilt. And the man himself. Okay, so this version of Luke Skywalker, let's go ahead and compare him to, okay, I call shenanigans. And I'll show you why. I'm pulling the most recent Luke, not out of the Landspeeder, but off my display. I've got this Luke on display. And I bought like 5 of this Luke. I love this thing. All right, so this is 344. This is 344A, right? Deluxe versus a regular, same basic figure, right? Wrong. So check it out. Not only are the paint apps different, which is not necessarily a reason to give him a new number, but he's got cloth goods right here, which changes the overall. It's got cloth goods and a different belt. So it's a completely different figure in that way. The upper body and the legs are the same. So is the head sculpt. That's all the same. But whenever you get the waist section right here, it's completely different. Check it. You've got the hole right there for the lightsaber hilt to stick in. It's in the plastic. And on this one, it's actually on the belt. You can see it. Let me focus in, make sure I'm focused in properly here. See, it's right there on the belt. What else has he got? He also has the long pouch right here on his belt that is removable as well. So, I mean, this is not the same figure. I disagree with the numbering on this one as 344A. I think it should be a completely different number. I mean, I kind of get the reason why they did it this way, so people wouldn't feel obligated to buy it, but just to complete their number run, but still, regardless. Okay, so the lightsaber hilt does attach to his belt right there. So that's cool. Let me see. He also has an additional hole over here on this side for the droid collar. So you can pop the droid collar in right there. Maybe. Tell you what, my fat fingers don't do very well with these itty bitty little pieces. My passion is for the vintage collection. My fat fingers demands Black Series. Geez, I'm bending the peg. Maybe it shouldn't go there. Yeah, I can't get it in there. I'm afraid I'm just going to screw it up. Which wasn't a problem on this version of him. All right, so the droid collar should fit right there, but I can't quite get it there. Also, he does, of course, have the macro binoculars. Maybe the macro binoculars will fit there. I don't know. Sorry, guys, this whole review is a bit of a cluster. Attach that there. Nope. I tell you what. There we go. So I got the macro binoculars over there. Even though they're not supposed to go there, that's where the droid collar goes. The macro binoculars do fit right there on his belt where the lightsaber goes as well. So it's modular. You can move pockets and straps and droid collars and other things all over the damn place with them. So very modular that way. The paint apps, I like these paint apps better on his boots. It feels more right, I guess you would say. Still a little light, especially considering the original vintage figure had like tan, like a goldish tan color. All right, but articulation, same articulation as the last version. So you've got shoulders, single elbows, elbows also twist, wrists, neck, torso, hips, thighs, single knees, knees twist, and ankle rockers. So he's got that same great articulation that the last one had. This one has the cloth goods, which makes him more flexible to sit in the Landspeeder. All right, he also, of course, comes with the hat. Hat will tuck on his head like that. That's actually kind of cool. That looks good. I like that one. All right. And of course, he's got his poncho, which it is sewn in a couple of places. So you got to move his arm in first. His arm's in first, I believe, as I drop the pouch. You know, modular stuff like this has its ups and it definitely has its downs, right? Okay, struggle with this a little bit. Get his arm in there. Probably just going to take it right off. Tuck his head through there. That actually sits perfectly, just like it should, other than, you know, this guy right here. This is the last time they released this version of Luke. Yeah, number one, the material is a lot better. Gives me hope for the future of Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. So we've got that. Then we can go ahead and pop his bucket hat on right there. And, of course, give him his slug slinger. Here we go. A big problem I had with that other Luke that I just showed a second ago with the poncho is you couldn't even... I bought it for all the accessories. That was before this one was announced. And you can't even hold his accessories properly, I say, as I drop the macro binoculars on the flag deck. All right, I did drop his pouch. It's around here somewhere. Fun. Good times. So yeah, VC344A and the Landspeeder. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. I don't know if I'm pleased for the price. I mean, this is a really nice quality vehicle, but C-3PO doesn't quite achieve what I was hoping he would achieve. Maybe there's going to be a new C-3PO coming out. I mean, there should be. It's been a long time since we've had this version of 3PO. And we also are getting a new Ben Kenobi, so I can finally get rid of that thing. But yeah, overall, I'm really pleased with the purchase. So that's it, everybody. The Landspeeder with the Luke. So that's it, everybody. The Landspeeder and the Deluxe Luke figure. I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and update in real time our checklists whenever I'm doing these longer videos. So this one knocks the Landspeeder off the list. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and as always, keep it nerdy.